even with La Traviata.
But new works.
I don't think we spoke about some.
I don't know how many 21st century operas in the scene. We're 8 years into the 21st century.
But not so many.
There aren't very many. And there's
actually, there are many. The problem is that most of them are only performed once.
Yes.
I mean, not one performance, but one series of performances, and then they disappear forever.
So, will we see new works under your stewardship?
Well, I hope we will be able to present new works. I would like to look for new works that are worthy of being presented after by other companies.
So something that would go beyond the one production.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's also history that not all the pieces that are premiered at some point continue to impress the public. That it has been like that since Monteverdi's time.
Yes.
Probably. But when you look at the history of opera, and you look at how many titles of the 19th century, how many titles of the 20th century are still permanently in the repertoire of the big companies, you will discover that almost nothing, no opera that was composed after 1950, 1960, that has remained in the repertoire.
But when you see
when you look at the last 10 years, you can name 5 operas out of the last 10 years that have been done by several opera companies in several different productions. Yes. You won't find a lot.
But you will find operas that have had an impact, that you'll find contemporary operas that people continue to talk, write about, that people get interested in recording and listening to those recordings. What's the secret to those ones? Why do they have resonance? What have they found in the culture to give them resonance like that?
Well, the thing we've spoken about is some possibility to let people in, to allow people to understand or to connect with the piece. And sometimes that can be the story, so opera like Dead Man Walking, and sometimes maybe it's rather the music.
Yes.
I think usually the contemporary opera rather functions about the plot, that people can connect to the plot, and that there has been an opera on Angels in America and these kind of things.
Co-productions. What kind of opportunities do you see there? And today you mentioned North American companies. Is that because Toronto is centrally located? Why do you think that American companies would be the best bet for a co-production?
Well, because they're close, or relatively close. I think we shouldn't exclude any co-producer that wants to work with us. It's just that for practical reasons, when you co-produce with an European company, you have huge shipping costs to bring the sets here, or when the set's produced here to bring it over to Europe, and somehow the costs for the shipping annihilate the savings you make of a co-production.
Yes.
So if you have a co-production contribution of a certain amount of money and you have to pay the same amount of money again for the shipping, then you could have done it all alone.
And do you have these connections with North American companies, American companies?
Well, I think I know people in most of the major American opera companies. I know them on a different level. I know them from a former position, but I think it will be rather easy to connect with these people and see what they are planning, what we are planning, what could be done together. And today everybody's interested in doing these kind of things just to save money.
How do you compare the Canadian Opera Company with other companies in the world? Where do you see this company in terms of its rank globally? And you talked about moving it up. And where do you see it? How do you see it rising? Where do you see it going under your stewardship?
I don't even know if the point where you want to go or where it should go. I think we should just always try to be as good as we can and even better.
Yes.
And then it goes up all around.
When you first saw when you first saw production here, what impressed you about the quality of the production?
It's certainly very good playing of the orchestra, good chorus, great acoustics.
You also mentioned the Canadians that you've worked with and that you know. Among the Canadian directors, who would you like to work with?
Well, I think Robert Carson has to have a place here. He hasn't had one for quite some time,
Yes.
as far as I understand. And then there are other people who have worked with the company, like Robert Lepage, who certainly should come back. I mean, there is a project for the future, but I hope it won't be the last one.
Yes.
And for these very international people, I think it's very nice to also explore things they've never done before, or maybe they haven't been approached to do somewhere else, but things they really want to do. So I would like to talk to them and see what are the things you haven't done. And then we can see if it matches with what we would like to do.
What's the first thing you want to do when you become a citizen of Toronto?
Walk down to the lake.
Don't swim in it. It's wonderful to have you here. Best of luck. This is a great company. We love it very much, and we're really glad that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you.